Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. Welcome to the call today. I got a Sean Nielsen and Chris Habke on the call with us today. Sean's been on with us quite a few times. He's actually one of the Facebook specialists that we have on that has showed us many, many different ways to master your Facebook lead gen. And I'm really excited to have Chris Habke, his lead specialist, on with us today to show us kind of behind the scenes what they have created and how Sean has taken this to another level with lead management and how to convert leads into closed loans using Facebook. So I'm really excited to have you guys. Sean, welcome to the call once again, man. It's always a pleasure having you here, and I love your content, love your system, City Blast. And if for all the newcomers, if you're not familiar with it, we got a special option for you at the end to get to know these guys better. So, Sean, take it away, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks very much. I am Sean Nielsen. I'm the co-founder of CityBlast.com. Many of you know CityBlast. We are the largest social media management company in the world for real estate professionals. Our sister site, Mortgage Mingler, is similarly a social media management company for mortgage professionals. And today we're going to talk about something really cool and interesting, something that we've just started doing over the past couple of months as a new service through CityBlast, which is generating leads for real estate professionals through the use of Facebook ads. And we have a long history as a company. We've been around for about 6 years, and we've been doing a number of services for real estate professionals. We do content posting for social media. We do fan page growth, so we'll help you grow your fan page larger. And of course, we will help you with all aspects of professionalism in your presence and so on. And we also have many lead generating tools that are baked in to our services that we provide through those channels. But what we've never actually done is just set up ads and run ads for agents directly before until now. We started doing it a couple of months ago, and it has gone mental. People are absolutely loving it. I've got here with me Chris Habke, who is the head of our lead gen team at CityBlast. He's actually been with the company for quite some time now, and he is a pay-per-click wizard. What his job is to sit in front of Facebook and tweak audiences, creative, run our ads in interesting and creative new ways to develop lower and lower and lower cost per leads and get more volume of leads through to our clients. He works on our landing pages. He optimizes Facebook and uses it to generate seller leads and get them directly to our clients. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and he's going to take you on a in-depth journey for about 20 or 30 minutes into how he views the Facebook Ads Manager, how he controls his Facebook ads in terms of setting up creative, setting up audiences, optimizing, and so on. And he's going to give you tips, tricks, rules of thumb, strategies, and ways to diagnose when your campaigns are working or not working, so that you can then just follow along and use the strategy of a pay-per-click expert in your own business. Chris, have I got you there? How's your audio sounding? And I'm guessing everybody can hear us. If you guys want to type into the question box as well and let us know you can hear us, that would be great. Chris, have I got you there?
You betcha, yeah, loud and clear.
Cool. All right. So pretty quickly here, we're going to turn it over to Chris. But if you guys want to grab something to write with, there's going to be a lot of little, like I said, rules of thumb and little strategies, and there might be some numbers involved. He'll tell you, below this is a low cost per click, above this is high. If you're kind of seeing this number, you should adjust downward or upward. So we're going to get really specific and open the playbook for you. Make sure that you've got something to write with, and make sure to tune in. We're going to keep it as short and to the point as possible and help you really, really learn how to optimize and use the Facebook Ads Manager to drive your business. But make sure that you're tuned in and focused. We're also going to do Q&A at the end. So if you have questions for me about social media best practices, if you have questions for Chris at the end about how to specifically do your lead generation, we will be here staying on to help you with all of those items as well. And stick around to the end, because we're going to have an awesome, awesome special offer for you that is going to really help turbocharge your September and beyond if you stay tuned and take advantage at the end. So why don't we turn the screen over, Scott, if you want, to Chris, and Chris can get underway showing us sort of the fundamentals of how he uses the Facebook interface and how he sets up his campaigns on behalf of our clients to generate maximum lead flow.
All right, now we're seeing Chris's screen.
All right,
so
sounds good.
Your brother.
Perfect. All right, so what I've got set up here is just a little example page, so it would resemble pretty similar to your own business page. For those of you who've never kind of set up anything before, what we're going to do is I'll just take you quickly through how to set up your ad manager account. Should be pretty simple. There's a little promote button here. This is the easiest way if you want to just like get straight into it. If you want to do a little more advanced, what we'll do is just head over to here, and we'll go down into our ad manager. We'll let this load. And if you're running multiple ad accounts, it'll give you your options there. Click that. And as we head in, this will be the first time that you see your ad manager account. Once you set up a campaign, it will then prompt you to set up your credit card information, that sort of stuff, your payment solution. For me, we'll skip that step, obviously, because it's pre-set up. But yeah, if you guys see that step, no.
And if you guys have any trouble with this, you can always Google how to set up your ad manager. A lot of that stuff is pretty basic, and Facebook is happy to help you out with that. They have plenty of articles about it and so on.
Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and hit the Create Campaign button. And what we're doing here is we're setting up a campaign specifically to get home seller leads. So what we're going to focus on is traffic to your website. If you want to get in-depth, it's always best to set up there's a tracking pixel, but that's the next level. You don't worry about that right now. If you really find that you're getting traction with setting up ads, etc., then that's when you want to kind of invest in getting maybe a little web dev to help you out and put in some tracking pixels just to help you retarget, stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we are going to be focusing on, for your first campaign, just traffic to the website. So initially, what will happen is it'll ask you, what do you want to do? Well, we want to send people to the website. You can click that. Continue.
Okay, so
and here is the meat and potatoes.
Everybody saw what you picked there. Chris, want to say that one more time? What they're choosing as their objective?
You
Guys, there's a
are
lot of different objectives you can choose there, and you're going to want to choose send people to your website.
Boom. Perfect. And what it's going to ask...
Sorry, I was just going to say, if we have time at the end, maybe you can explain later on during the Q&A what some of the other options are and why you might choose them or not choose them, but definitely let's stay on track here for now.
Sounds good. All right, so choose these custom audiences. These are an advanced setting. For right now, what you're going to do is, first and foremost, set up where you're selling from. So let's just type... let's say you live in Argyle, Texas, so you want to primarily target people who live in your city. What you want to do is, if it's a smaller or a rural center, you can actually adjust a radius, so you can go up to 50 miles around your target city, or as low as 10 miles. This is primarily for if you live in a rural center. But Argyle's fairly large enough, so we are only going to select current city only. So that works with an API from a mapping system, Google Maps, I believe. And so it will only target the actual city perimeters. If you live in a metropolitan area, there will be options for the greater area or just the city limits. And the most important thing that you can do right here is this. So you don't want to you don't want to target everyone that is in this location, because that gets travelers, business people who are actually out of state, etc. You want to target people who live in this location, because you are essentially targeting homeowners. Up next, these are the most basic demographics: age, gender. Primarily what we find is the median home person who is interested in selling their home, or maybe looking at a reverse mortgage or something like that, the median is a 54-year-old women primarily. But that being said, there's nothing stops from anywhere from 34-year-olds to 65 plus. And for this sake, where you're going to start off with your first campaign, you're going to start large, and then as you optimize and really focus in later, you'll get smaller and smaller. You'll be able to segment men from women. Men 34 to 45, they may react different to certain ads as men from 45 to 55. For what you can do for right now is you're just going to go the most generic possible, because then you can really hyper-optimize later when the data starts rolling in.
Right.
Could you
maybe? Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, Chris, I was going to say, can you, like, when you say, some of these words, maybe people aren't familiar with, optimize.
Sure.
Can you explain optimize really quick, just so when you say that, people know what that means? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to see is once you get a campaign up and running with a few of your best guesses at what kind of the message, image, and targets you're going to get some metrics that start flowing in. And what those metrics are, you can see in a breakdown of what age and genders are best performing, best responding to your ad, whether they're the ones who are most likely to click or the ones who are most likely to follow through with an action on your page. So you'll look at these metrics, and optimizing includes cost per click, your click-through rate. These are things that we might step back in here in about 10 minutes after we set up a full ad, and then I'll kind of show you in a new interface that has a much better grid layout system to kind of see how to optimize.
Yeah, and also there's a nice rule of thumb, I think, baked in there, Chris, that you might want to touch on, which is generally the larger the audience that you target, the lower price you're going to pay for those clicks. So there's a tug of war going on between, if you want to target in on the exact right person, like you want to target a super small area and a super specific age of people, and it's someone with a specific job title, and they're going to be this exact right type of person for you, your cost to pay for the clicks that come from that smaller and smaller audience is going to go higher and higher. Is that generally accurate, Chris?
Absolutely. So when you see stats, you can look up stats, how much, you can ask a generic question in Google, how much do Facebook ads cost? What they'll say is about $1 a click is on average. Now those averages are for big corporations, Coca-Cola, Nike, whose demographics are anyone with a mouth or anyone with feet. Whereas what we're doing is we're looking for homeowners, people who are most likely to move. For the most area, we want higher income demographics because those homes are worth a little bit more. So yeah, for each, the more and more concentrated your targeting gets, the slightly more and more costly it's going to get. So it's just creating that balance of cost per acquisition eventually.
Cool.
Cost per lead. All right, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up this, and then after we can move on to detail targeting. So this is pretty cool. Facebook knows a lot about this because we willingly put a lot of information into it. So we can start targeting, depending upon your city, the demographics of your city, the industries that are present in your city. You probably are a real estate agent. You've been living there for a while. You already know what your customers look like, who your best customers are. So you can start using Facebook's targeting, their demographic interest and behavior targeting, to start focusing on who you think your best target audience is. So some of these great examples here that are already auto-populating just from past tests run is, parents with adult children. This is a great one because, these are parents who are essentially empty nesters and are most likely to look to, sell their home and maybe move into a condo or become snowbirds, move down into Florida or something like that. And so, like I said, you can start large and move more and more concentrated later. But this is a pretty cool part. It's the most powerful part of Facebook. You can not only just add people that you want to target, you can also exclude people, or you can narrow your audience. And this is where it becomes really powerful. So instead of just adding, parents with adult children, as well as, let's say we only want, we could also add, let's say,
the relationship status married.
yeah. Oops. So yeah, you can browse, and here, if you don't know what to start with, you just hit this little browse button, and it'll start populating with, say, education level. Say we only want to target people with professional degrees, or because these most likely have higher incomes. So here we go. So we've got people who have professional degrees who are empty nesters. Well, that's a great start, but also maybe we want to exclude, say, people who have, still are worrying about student loans, because maybe they're, in a place of instability or something like that. Or you can exclude, what else would we like to exclude? You can exclude, once again, levels of study. So if you don't want someone who only has a little bit of high school, something like that, you can exclude them, or you can narrow your audience. So you want people who have these things, but also, so right now you're targeting anyone with a professional degree or anyone with children. So what we could do is we could remove this. So now, since we're going to narrow it, we're going to add people with professional degrees, but they must also be parents with adult children. And that's really cool. You can get hyper-concentrated there, and you can try as many different variations as you want, set up tons of ad sets, and yeah, just keep going. So, next.
what just quickly there,
sure.
I think what Chris is saying also is, and what this feeds into is, you're going to set up ultimately a number of different advertising campaigns that are going on concurrently, and you're going to be testing them against each other. And the sort of tip or trick here is, as we get to that stage, you're going to set up 5 or 10 or 20 different ad campaigns, all with different targeting, let's, for example, say, and start to see which ones perform the best. You'll go, oh, I'm not really getting any professional degree empty nesters, but I'm getting lots of people with professional degrees, and that ad's performing pretty well, even though the empty nesters seem like they would be more likely to be doing a transaction in real estate. It turns out that I actually don't need to worry about that. And what will happen is, going back to optimizing, as Chris was talking about, you'll start to kill off campaigns that are not performing as well, and you'll start to promote and put more money behind and more attention behind the campaigns that are working better. And until you start, you're not going to know which ones will be the best. So you've got to start out with a few theories or ideas, like Chris was just sort of throwing ideas out there. You can have your own ideas. You'll know who you think might be good audiences to target, and the only way to find out if you're right is to test and to run different campaigns against each other and then see which ones work and which ones don't work. So that's why this targeting is important, and we sort of don't, we're putting the cart before the horse in one sense by talking about the specific targeting, but that's why you're going to target, is you're going to try targeting all sorts of different things and then compare them against each other. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Exactly. No, exactly. So once you're going to set up all that, so yeah, I guess I should have talked about the hierarchy. The campaign is the biggest kind of your overall reaching, but yeah, it's these ad sets where you can start to differentiate and segment your audience. So now per ad set, what you want to do is set your budget, $20 a day. That's pretty decent. It can add up fairly quickly if you're not checking in essentially every day, maybe even twice a day when you're first starting off, because it's pretty important. But yeah, $20 a day is just fine right now. And then what we're going to move on to next to is your ad. So we're focusing on home seller leads. So I'm just going to quickly pop out of this and just give it back to a better example of here. Of what an ad looks like, what you want to start building. These are little old examples, but nonetheless they kind of contain exactly here is a really good little cheat sheet that you can have. feel free to take a screenshot of this, or get that pen and pad out and start writing this down. Because so what you're going to do is once you create your ad set, you also want to split test your ads. You're setting up different, your ad sets are kind of creating these different buckets of people, maybe empty nesters versus people, young, just new married homeowners, and the message that you're going to be aiming at them is completely different. So for that reason, you're going to have to split test ads, the split test images, and split test the messages on top. So here we have, homes in Toronto have another record-breaking.
Can you explain what you mean when you say split test?
Sure. So just like Sean was saying, how when you create, you go with your best guess, and what you're going to do is start eliminating. You're going to see which ones are performing the best, and you're going to start axing off or cutting out your lowest performing ads, and try and use the scientific method as much as possible to articulate and hone in on what either the messaging or images are working best in getting the message across. That is increasing people to click through to your ad, and therefore decreasing your cost per click, and eventually and essentially getting more seller leads.
Yeah. So split testing, guys, is really the methodology that we're going to follow here. It is the way that we do this on an ongoing basis. So a lot of people will start out creating one ad and running one ad, and that seems like the natural thing to do when you first get into this, is you're going to run one ad. What you should actually be doing is taking the gross budget that you think you can spend in a month, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it is, and you need to divide that budget over a whole series of different ads. The ads you're going to try are going to have different audiences. As we saw, Chris was choosing audiences. You might have different audiences. Those audiences are going to need different ads potentially. So if you're speaking to the empty nesters, it's maybe like, hey, is it time to downsize? Click here to find out what your home is worth and see if you can cash out of your property. And then you're going to capture a person who's interested in potentially selling to downsize. You're not going to put that same ad up to someone who's buying their first home and say, looking to downsize, because those people are not going to respond to that ad. So if you've got young people and it's like you're targeting people who are upwardly mobile young folks, you might say, looking to buy your first home, wondering if you qualify? Click here to check if you qualify to buy it currently or whatever. You're going to want to make sure your creative matches with your ad. And then what you want to do is run a whole series of different ads that the total spend for all of them amounts to what your monthly budget is, let's say, for your Facebook advertising. And you're going to start to move money from out of the ads that are not performing. You're going to turn them off, and you're going to move that money in and toward the ads that are performing. That's a bit of an oversimplification, but that is sort of the theory of what you're going to want to do. And that's what split testing is. It's basically testing two or more ads against each other and coming up with a champion ad and removing the challenger ads who are not performing as well as the champion ad, and continuing to get better and better, like evolution or natural selection of better and better ads. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, precisely. Just a few kind of pro tips on the side. When you're thinking about exactly what kind of ad copy you want to include, these are the 4 easiest and best tips that I can give. It's just words matter. Use your, because your brain, it's stimulated by the fact that you're being addressed, personally. Free, of course, everyone loves something that's free. Always use words that also create scarcity or immediacy. So now, get your home value today, or find out now what it's worth. New is a great one. Using this word, it means there's something out there that's brand new, it's fresh, and you want to be on the precipice of what's cool and interesting.
And I could maybe add one more to that, Chris, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but let's say that you're in Argyle, Texas. You might want to put Argyle in there so that people who you're targeting know that it's targeted at them. And you heard me mention that before, where it's like I said, if you're targeting an empty nester, you're like, hey, looking to downsize, right? You want the ad to speak right to that person who you're targeting. So, for example, if he's going to target Argyle professional degree people, your headline might say, get your free Argyle home value assessment now. And that person goes, wow, it's talking to me because it says you. It's free, which I like. It's for Argyle, so it's definitely for me because that's where my house is. Now tells me I should do it right now before the opportunity goes away. So that's how you might start to construct good headlines for your ads and so on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, geographic specificity is also a really awesome tip. Yeah, great work, Sean. All right. So what we're gonna do, essentially.
I think rather than create a whole ad, I don't think that there's going to be a lot of mystery there. Maybe we want to go through that relatively quickly with the image uploading and all of that good stuff. I think they get it from the slide that we showed, but maybe we could start to talk about once you've uploaded your image, you've written your ad copy, and you've told the ad where to point. And guys, we're not going to. There's we could spend a whole other hour talking about your landing page when we get there, and that's going to be a call for another day. Well, your landing page is wherever you send the people to after they click. Could be your Facebook page, it could be your personal website, it could be a squeeze page or a landing page meant to capture leads hosted elsewhere. That's another day's work, but once you've got that all set up, you've chosen a good image, you've written a good ad copy and so on, Chris, I'd love to make sure that we have time for you to give them the rules of thumb for how to track the performance of their ads and start to understand how do I know if this ad is good, bad? Am I wasting money? Is this working? I'd love to know some of that stuff. I think that's really where a lot of people are going to get the maximum bang for their buck.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Here, I believe actually one of our old slides here. So. This is probably some of the key things that you should be focusing on. There we go.
And Chris,
so when
how many ads would you say before they start checking their results and tweaking? How many ads would you say a beginner should put into their first split test group? And how many, would you split it out by audiences? How would you set up that first campaign, specifically?
So that first campaign, I would set up at least 4 different ad sets. I tend to just kind of do a split test between ages and genders. Primarily, age 34 to about 45 respond pretty similar. Age 45, up to about 65 respond fairly similar. Once you get, right around 55 and older, almost everyone's getting close to retirement or thinking about that. So, age-wise, set up probably 2 to 3 different ad groups, and then split test gender because that's the easiest one, men versus women. And so right there, you're at about 6 ad sets. Which is that's your best kind of foundation to go from there. Within each ad set, so age 45 to 55 men, split test about right off the hop, probably 4 of your best guesses of what you think is compelling ad copy and beautiful imagery, and split test the 2. So about 6 ad sets. And probably 4 ads each. So I mean, in total, you're getting a little bit up there. You're up at what's my quick math there? About 24 ads that you're kind of managing.
So I just want to rehash that to make it really clear to everybody. So what Chris is saying is to do your first testing and start to see where you're winning, where you're losing, and where you're going to start to focus on. You're going to divide people up. So your geographic area is going to be the same for everybody. It's going to be where you want to work, basically, where you're willing to conduct real estate business is where we're going to target the people. But then Chris is saying segment people by age into 3 buckets. Okay, and he said 35, 45, 45, 55, 55 plus. So we're gonna, if you follow that advice, you're going to leave people out who are under 35. Could be a good idea, could not be a good idea. You might want to test below that. Chris is an expert in this. He's done this a long time. I might start with what he's recommending. So segment the people into age groups, and then he's saying you can also split them out into male, female. So you'll have 6 groups there. You'll have males from 35 to 45, females from 35 to 45, males from 45 to 55, females from 45 to 55, and so on. You'll have 6 groups. And then finally what he's saying is, now that you've got those 6 groups, you can do your ad creative, and the creative means what your ad actually looks like. What does the picture look like? What do the words say in the ad? To put 4 different ads that you plausibly think could be a good ad for each one of those groups. So we're going to go into what's called the ad set, which you'll see when you're in the ad manager, for males 35 to 45, and we're going to go, okay, I've got males 35 to 45. What kind of an ad would I want to see if I was a male 35 to 45 that's going to get me interested in working with this real estate agent ultimately? And you're going to do the same thing for each of the different buckets, and you're going to try 4 different creatives for each group. So you're going to try 4 attempts at different ads that you think are going to convince males 35 to 45, same for females 35 to 45. Then you're going to do 4 for 45 to 55, and so on. At the end, you should have 24 ads aimed at the 6 different groups, and that's where we're going to start our test. And once you start that test up, and be careful not to put such a budget into each one of those groups that you suddenly realize that you've spent a ton of money in your first month. You need to be careful and make sure that your maximum budget for all of them adds up to the budget that you want to spend in the given month. But that's the initial test that we're going to try to run, is these 24 ads against each other, and that's going to bring us to where Chris is going right here, which is how do you know what's working, how do you know what's not working, and so on.
Yeah, totally. And to the, I mean that 24 ads, that's pre, once you get really into it, you notice yourself getting better and better, getting more intuitive, and that's when you can also then layer on those the additional targeting. Say if you're looking for buyer leads, then yeah, you can go younger than 34, and people who are newly married, and newly married versus without that targeting at age 25 to 35. So it can balloon quickly, but it's incredibly worth it. So that 24 ads can balloon up to 60 to 100, but by then you'll be
so turning things off as you go.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of which things to turn off. So what you're going to do, I mean, ultimately, there's so many metrics, there's so many, nerdy little numbers that you can get lost in. What's important to you guys is, what is your cost per lead? That's the most important metric. If it takes 10 leads to sell a home, well, divide by your margin of profit and what you're willing to spend. That's what's important. So what are the easiest ways to figure out, how to tweak? Well, if your leads are too expensive, then just first off, divide link clicks by leads. You know that Facebook will tell you got 100 clicks. Okay, well, how many leads did you get from that? Because your landing page will be set up to either a CRM or at least an email that you have, and so you'll know, okay, this month I spent so much $100, hundreds of dollars, and I got this many leads. So if you take your link clicks, divide them by your conversion, divide them by how many leads you had on your conversion page. And if it's below 30%, then there's lots of things that you can try to do to improve it. So if your click-through rate, which is
just
how many
there, just sorry to interrupt, Chris. Just to add another voice there. What Chris is saying is, it's actually not very complicated. I know it sounds a little bit daunting maybe because some of these are new terms. What Chris is saying is, if you spend $1,000 on Facebook in a month, you should keep track of how many leads came in. So you're driving these people to a page. The page says, hey, thanks for clicking on the home value assessment link. Input your street address and your email here, and we'll get back to you with a time when we can provide you a home value assessment. And someone puts in their address and their email and their phone number or their name or whatever you want to collect, and they press the submit button, and that sends that lead information through to you. That's a lead. That is a successful lead. And what Chris is saying is, take the number of leads you got. So if you got 10 leads that month and you spent $1,000, you know what your cost per lead is. You spent $100 per lead because you tracked how many leads you got and you tracked what your spend was on Facebook. That is your cost per lead, and that's the most important number because it's the clearest indicator and the largest scope indicator of what's actually happening. Your whole system, all together, your audience, your creative, your landing page, and so on, all added up to cost you $100 per lead that came through in our example. And that's the most important number. Beyond that, you can start to refine further and further. Okay, well, how is my ad performing? Well, you might want to know what your cost per click is, or your cost or your click-through rate, or so on, to see how your ad's performing. But the biggest thing is how much are your leads costing, and how many of those leads can you close? So if you're closing 1 in 10 leads, then you know if you're spending $100 per lead, it's going to cost you $1,000 for every deal that you're able to close. And now, if you're making $5,000 on a deal or whatever it is, then you're profitable. This is kind of the very high-level logic that you're going to want to use to understand if your ads are working or not. So Chris was about to jump in a little further, but just to rehash one more thing, what he's saying here where it says divide link clicks by leads, he's saying how many clicks are you getting off of Facebook and how many leads are you getting? So it's a bit of a different question. We're not saying, okay, we spent $1,000 on Facebook and we got 10 leads. He's also saying we sent 1,000 people from Facebook. So if, let's say we spent $1,000 and that got us 1,000 clicks on our ads, that means 1,000 people clicked and came through and could have taken advantage of our offer on our landing page to submit their name and address and get a home value assessment. That means we sent 1,000 people, and what Chris is saying is if you're sending 1,000 people through to your landing page, you want to know what percentage of the people who come to your landing page are doing what you are hoping they do, which is submit the form, which is your lead. And he's saying if you're below 30%, then you could be improving upon that information. Would you say all that is accurate? I don't want to say anything wrong, Chris.
No, that is absolutely correct.
Okay, cool. So if we dive a little deeper, like you were about to do, the click-through rate of your links, this, unless I'm mistaken, this is about analyzing the ads themselves, right?
Exactly, correct.
Cool. So you've got a rule of thumb there for that. What is that?
Yeah, it's essentially 1%. 1% is that's the bottom barometer for sure. So if your click-through link is below 1%, I mean, either your ad creative isn't compelling or you're targeting the wrong audience. Because now, what a 1% click-through rate means, or what a click-through rate means, is for every person on Facebook whose eyeballs saw your ad, the percentage of people who saw the ad and then clicked through. So that's your click-through rate. So if it's below 1%, which means 100 people saw your ad on Facebook, but only one person clicked it, you're at 1%. So it's clearly your ad is not compelling, or you're targeting the wrong audience, and that's where you can go back to split testing the ads, or shimmying the targeting, and that's a really good barometer of how compelling your ads are. And the final metric is CPM. M is kind of confusing, but what it stands for is cost per thousands of impressions. What that means, so it's separate from how much it costs per click. It's the cost per how many 1,000 impressions on Facebook. So essentially, how many thousand eyeballs saw your ad. If it's getting super high, chances are you should just try a different audience. Either you're in a high competition field, so if you're targeting someone who with a college degree who has a job title of engineer or doctor, well, you're competing in a space that a lot of high-end companies are trying to get ad space on this for the same eyeballs. So if it's a professional degree who's an engineer and doctor, well, you're fighting with BMW and Mercedes-Benz and things like that for that same ad space, that ad real estate essentially on Facebook. So try a different audience. You might not be profitable at that point. So keep testing. Always keep testing.
Hey,
sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Sean, is it okay to ask a couple questions? I got a couple questions coming in I think are good that fit kind of where we're at right now, and then
absolutely.
And share a little bit about my thoughts here. So, John, thanks for being here. He says, is there a difference between sending clicks to my website versus sending clicks to a specific landing page with email capture or autoresponder?
Sure. So, I mean, in terms of asking what the difference is, first of all, there's a number of differences, but thinking about it generally, and I'd like that person to clarify their question while I'm talking. Maybe they can be a little bit more specific about what the question is. But I think one thing you want to make sure of is that your ad creative that you're putting onto Facebook, whatever it's promising, you need to deliver immediately and obviously on the landing page. So if you're saying, hey, check out the greatest website for Argyle real estate news, and the person clicks through, and they land on a home value assessment lead capture, you haven't fulfilled the promise. But if they click on that ad and they do go to your website, and your website is in fact really good at providing Argyle real estate news, then you have fulfilled the promise. So I think one thing is you want your creative to match your page. The second thing is, and I mean obviously the reverse is true, if you're saying want a home value assessment, drive them to the home value assessment page and capture that lead. To me, I would always drive to lead capture pages because driving to your website really is going to only get you website views, and then if you want a lead, it's going to have to come at a second, like it's sort of almost a secondary action. They've come, they've read some stuff on your site, they think your site's great, and then now you've got things on your site saying, hey, want to work with me? I'm the best. Then you're going to have sort of to make a sale the second time to get that lead. We love driving straight to leads, which has been super valuable, I think, for us, and to custom-made lead generation pages. We found sort of the best results through that. Scott, do you think that answers the question, or?
It does, no, and I like that it's got to be congruent with your ad when they go to a page. I think you hit it right on the money there, so I appreciate that explanation. And somebody asked, what's the difference between a landing page and an opt-in page? There's really the same one and the same, correct? I mean, there's really, like, it's kind of, there's a bunch of lingo that a lot of the same words, a lot of the same terms mean the same thing.
Yeah, so I mean, squeeze page, opt-in page, whatever you want to call it, landing page. Landing page is a broad term. Landing page literally means any page that is the next page that you see after you click on an ad. So a landing page could be the home page of your website with no opt-in on it at all. It's still a landing page. It's where the user lands when they jump off of Facebook, basically. An opt-in page and a squeeze page and so on are more specific. They're a type of landing page, and they're a type of landing page that performs a specific function for the advertiser. So an opt-in or squeeze page is a page where you land and it goes, hey, opt in to this, or hey, give us your email and press submit. Those are types of landing pages, but they essentially, you can think of them as all being in the same family of terms, yeah.
Okay. Question here. So Susan, she says, if your CPM is high, why move to a different audience? Why not vamp up your ads in this area?
What Chris is saying about the CPM is if the CPM is high, it's more about getting your ad served, really, than anything else. You're paying a lot of money to get the real, so he was calling it real estate, not to be confusing. When you're on Facebook, there are only so many boxes in which ads can fit because Facebook mostly wants to serve you content from your friends and followers and or things you're following and so on. There's only a certain amount of boxes there. If your CPM is high, that's specifically telling you that the placement to get into that box with your ad is expensive because other people are massively competing for that same audience. Chris, is that accurate?
Yeah, that's totally correct. If Susan is actually correct in one way too, that you may want to restart the campaign with new ad creatives, because what you could also be hitting in that case, and that's actually a bit of an advanced question. So Susan, good on you for knowing this, but. What could happen too is ad exhaustion, or the frequency rates are hitting too high. So that's another metric that that's an advanced metric, but that's a good one to keep an eye on. Is someone has seen that ad six times or something like that. Now, traditionally, I never like anyone seeing an ad more than 3 times. And so once again, so suddenly people have seen that ad, they're not interested in it anymore, they're not looking at it, and that can cause your CPM to rise as well, because it's all built into Facebook's algorithm.
Right, so that's something that we look at over time as you're going to get people exhausted with your ad. I think as a general rule of thumb, though, Chris has it nailed here. If you look at it as a hierarchy, it's a nice rule of thumb. If your cost per thousand is high, it's probably your audience. And then if you go kind of a layer up, if your click-through rate is low, or correspondingly your cost per click is high, what the ad is saying probably isn't convincing people to click on it. So you're serving the ad. It doesn't cost a ton of money in a cost per thousand to serve it, so it's getting seen by a lot of people, and you're not spending a lot of money for that. But now nobody's clicking on it, and you can tell that because your click-through rate is low or your cost per click is relatively high. And then as you go up another layer, you can look at your cost per lead, and you can look at how many leads you're getting, which is your landing page conversion rate, which is kind of further down the line. As a rule of thumb, this is a nice little hierarchy you can use to diagnose where the problem is in your chain for each ad.
All right, cool. Hey, so I know we're running out of time, and Sean, I'm a big component of, this isn't what I should be doing, because it's not, for me, like high-end money-making activity. I know that I need to be connecting, engaging, and interacting with my database, and that's in new people coming into my world, and that's what this is for. And for me to spend time to set all this up, do you guys have something at City Blast that, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm just asking, because there's a couple people that said, do you guys provide this service?
Yeah,
so for me to go in and try to figure out an ad and what picture works and test this and test that and holy crap, do you guys have something that you would do this for people if they wanted to take advantage of your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I was saying we've launched about 2 months ago, is we got so many requests from people to, hey, can you just do this for me, that now the answer is yes. Our team, Chris Hapke and his team of pay-per-click experts, will do this for you. Chris, do you want to put up the slide, the slide from the third slide of the new deck? Chris and his team will do this for you, and not only will they do it for you, we will do it with a few extra little bonuses thrown in. So for one thing, we are going to give everybody who's on the call today the opportunity to try us out with a 50% one-time discount on your first month of ads. We can't give you a demo because we have to spend the money to run the ads on Facebook. We're going to take a small loss really on the first month here and charge you 50% for your first month of lead generation. But we will do this for you. Chris and his team will set up your audiences for your custom specific market. He's going to target those audiences with different ad creatives. We are going to whittle, refine, improve your ads. Not only that, but beyond doing all of this methodology that we've talked about today, we're going to set up landing pages that convert. We're going to drive the traffic at those landing pages. We are going to capture high-quality seller leads with email and phone number and name and address, and we're going to send those leads over to you so that you don't have to do any of this stuff. We will manage the entire lead generation process all the way from Facebook to the lead, and those leads will come into your email for you to work with. And these are 100% exclusive, one-on-one seller leads that go directly to you. Now, will all of these leads sell their home with you? Absolutely not. But we are generating very high-quality leads, and we're taking all of the hassle out of it for you. And to give you the absolute best opportunity to get started with us, we are going to do it for the first month at 50% off. Our lowest price package is $299 a month. If you sign up today for our lead generation package going into the fall season here, you can see the link there below as well. We are going to rebate you 50%. So when you sign up, you will see an initial charge, which we have to do for the first month, and within 24 hours, you'll see a rebate for half of that. So $150 will be rebated back onto your card. For everybody who wants to try us out now, the last thing I'll say is these are 100% guaranteed leads, which means if you get any leads that you feel like, hey, this lead was no good, this person isn't real, or this, they weren't actually interested in a home value assessment, or I called the phone line and it was disconnected, or whatever. Things happen from time to time, just like anything else. Our leads are guaranteed. Just send us an email or give us a phone call, and we will replace any leads that you didn't feel were quality leads at absolutely no cost to you. 100% guaranteed leads. We have pricing packages on the website at cityblast.com under leads and pricing, and you can go on there and choose a package and get started today having us do all of this for you if you like.
Or you can, of course, dive into it yourself. And I can't stress how important Facebook is. This thing is literally growing and growing and growing. Sean, I don't know if you know this, but we fill our events using Facebook ads. 100% of our events that we do come from our Facebook page that we've built over a 6-year period, and running Facebook ads to our audience of people that we would like to try and help out and, of course, invite to an event. So if Facebook ever went away, man, we would be in trouble because we'd have to find another avenue. Right now is the number. It's where everybody's at. Like the crowd that we're looking to get into, that buy homes, sell homes. This is where they're at. It's just there's no better place right now today than to connect, engage, and interact. And I always think, well, people try to take them away from Facebook, and I'm like, okay. You can try and do that, but they're going to come right back. So why try and go outside of Facebook and try and take them somewhere else, or do Google ads, or do Instagram, or do Snapchat, or whatever, when they're there 2 to 3 hours a day? So this is just the most powerful place to be, and most important place to be when you're looking to build your brand, build your likes, build your celebrity status, build who you are in an area. In my eyes today, there's no other way.
Yeah, there's no question. It's absolutely the biggest. First of all, Facebook has the biggest audience. It has the most time spent online. People are looking at Facebook more than anything else. But also, this year is the first year, NAR has published that this year is the first year it's projected that digital lead generation will surpass referral and word of mouth as the #1 source of new leads for real estate professionals. That's pretty crazy. You need to be involved in this. So you've got the tools now from today. You can set up your audiences, do your 24 ad creative, split test, and monitor. Or if you want to add the world's best real estate pay-per-click ad managers to your real estate team, we are standing by at City Blast. Chris and his team will be happy to just do this for you. You get back to the business of selling real estate, and you have us generating you as many leads as you want each month coming through directly to you from these Facebook ad campaigns and looked after by our team. One way or another, whether you choose to do it yourself or you choose to have us do it for you, this is absolutely a critical engine that's going to drive your business forward this fall and for the rest of your time in business, assuming Facebook stays around as long as you do. So massive opportunity.
Here's a good question. So Judy's asking, so there's a cost to do this, which you said $299, half off $150. Is there additional cost for the ads, or is the one so that's a good question. So that
includes that's why we have to charge something, is because we take that money and we use it for the ads. So there is no additional ad cost, the $150 in your first month is going to cover off the cost of the ads as well. That's the entire cost for the management, and it includes the budget for the ads and everything included.
So you get lead. So you're going to set up lead pages. You're going to run. I don't know how many ads, but you're going to set up ads that in a certain area. You're going to come up with the content, the actual wording of it, test it for the people for that amount. There's really nothing they have to do except for go.
We're going to set up their geographic targeting. We're going to set up their audience targeting. We are going to set up the ads that go after those audiences. We are going to refine and tweak and target, and we're going to set up landing pages. We're going to capture the leads, and the leads are going to come in a nice email to our clients direct without having to worry about any of the stuff as to how the ad campaigns are going, the landing pages performing, the audiences, the creatives, and so on. We do it all from end to end. You just deal with the leads themselves as they come in.
Okay, cool. Man, I kind of seems like a no-brainer to me. If you're going to do all that, plus it's going to include my ads. Let's see. What's the difference between social media service versus lead gen service offered by City Blast?
Yeah, so without confusing anybody too much, we've been in business for 6 years. We help thousands and thousands of agents all across North America. We can do a full suite of social media management services. We do your content posting. If you want to have up-to-date content always posted, geographically targeted to your market, and in the voice and tone and in the type of content that you like, we do that service. We can help you grow your fan page. We can help you set up fan pages, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and so on. We are an all-in-one agency and the largest in the world doing it for real estate professionals. So we have a host of other services which you can see if you go to the cityblast.com website, and you can also use promo code MMA to sign up for discounts on those other services. But certainly the lead service that we're talking about today, definitely worth checking out. And while you're there, if you see other services that you're interested in and you have questions about them, just call us up. We're real human beings. There are a ton of us. We're at the offices here. We're in Toronto and New York. Everybody is locally here in North America. And one of our team members will be happy to speak with you. 1-888-712-7888 or info, info at cityblast.com. We'll be happy to answer any questions about the leads packages, producing content for you, growing your page, getting you set up, any and all of it. So if you have other questions like that, feel free to reach out to us for sure.
So Kurt's asking if you just want the lead gen, not the social media. That's fine too. So you just whatever.
Yep.
This is what signs you up right here. The cityblast.com/leads/start is what gets you the lead gen.
Yep.
Is there a number of leads that, like for the 250 or 300, is there a number of leads that you like come through, or is it more or less that's the time that it takes to figure it out?
Yeah, it's $2.99. We guarantee you 7 to 10 leads. We'll do our best to get you as many as we possibly can. Oftentimes it's 50% or even double that amount, but we don't guarantee that. We're going to do our best, but we do guarantee 7 to 10 leads in the $2.99 package. And then if you go on the website, you'll see there are other available packages as well. All of the packages are available and included in the 50% first month discount that we're offering for people who sign up right now. So anybody who signs up.
And then there's no requirement for 12 months or anything like that. Like if they want to cancel after the month, it's done. They're done. Okay, cool.
It's totally month to month. Your first month will be 50% off. If you like it beyond that, you'll go to regular pricing. But I'm presuming we're going to be driving you tons and tons of business, and so it's going to be more than worth it.
And also, Joe's asking, there's no promo code. So what's going to happen is if you do sign up for the lead gen, when you go to cityblast.com/leads/start, you will pay the $2.99, and they will within the same day today credit you back 50% of that. So we tried to do the promo thing, didn't get set up or wasn't working properly, and we didn't want to confuse it. We're just going to credit you back. Sean and Chris are going to credit you back the 50%. So you will see a charge of $2.99 and then a credit of $150 or whatever that is. Yeah, $150. Yeah. So that's how that works. So yeah, we apologize for that. The phone number again is 888-712-7888. Great number, by the way. Okay, no promo code, so I answered that question. Okay, answered that question. I think that covers everything. Let's see. All I see is includes local content. Yeah, so like that's if you want to do this, and it's like maybe I don't know. This is a good question. So if you have several offices in different cities, talk with them about that. Maybe they could split test both cities to see which one works best, or you guys would talk with that with City Blast about that for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we would be happy to set up different campaigns for different cities and so on.
Okay, so this is actually Pamela. This is a separate service. This is totally separate than the social media that City Blast does. So this is totally more lead gen, Facebook ads, landing pages, content, stuff like that. It's not. They're not going to post for you. They're going to run Facebook ads for you to get in front of your demographics that we feel or you together feel is a fit in your area. But they're going to do it for you. Is it available in all zip codes? So there's no limit, right? Like I can have whatever zip code. I don't know if you even know if you go by zip codes. You might maybe
we go by market. Yeah, we go by the name of the market itself, and yes, it's available all over the place. So get in touch with us, and we will be happy to get you set up for your market.
Perfect. All right, Sean, Chris, anything else that I missed? Man, awesome presentation, love it. So I appreciate you being here, Sean. I always appreciate the content, and I appreciate you going deep with what you do and helping our real estate partners to have more leads come in and close more business, man. It's just amazing what you do. So I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, and we'll see you guys again. If you want to try it out, it is a it's at cityblast.com/leads/start. And if you want to get a hold of City Blast, it's 888-712-7888. And the email is, if you want to email them, is info@cityblast.com. Again, thanks, guys. Appreciate you, and we'll look forward to seeing you in class someday soon.
Thanks, Scott.
Take care.
Take care.